Chapter 17. Friends, right? Autumn was looming ever closer. The leaves started to turn vermilion and rust and gold. The rain was incessant, making the otherwise magical season dreary. Michael and I had gotten a pizza, a meat lover's, as study fuel. Anton had given us copies of Davor's journal to study so that Michael could understand his reality better. I came across a section talking about the various powers of vampires: enchantment, which I guessed to be hypnosis, divining the mind, heightened senses, unnatural flight, and accelerated healing. I struggled from time to time with the ye olde language, but I understood most of it. But I still don't know what you had to give up in order to become a vampire, I said, after a bite of protein-filled deliciousness. I think I may have just gotten to that part. Listen to this. He leaned forward, one of his papers in hand, his pizza forgotten. Vampire are part of the community of the undead. This means that their bodies no longer produce mana. A living body with mana can die, while vampire are indestructible once filled with the bloody elixir of life. This means vampire cannot die. To perish, one must be actively producing mana. Michael took a breath as if he'd continue, then he stopped. His eyes scanned something on the page. What is it? I asked, worried. Michael cleared his throat and blinked a few times. It says here, to procreate is the gift of the living. Once one becomes undead, their potentiality to become a parent is negated. He set the papers down and stood, turning away from me. He went over to the kitchen, grabbed a glass from the cupboard, and poured himself some water from my filtered pitcher. He took a long drink before setting the glass down. His hand stayed on the glass, his thumb rubbing up and down the side. He cleared his throat. I always thought that someday I'd get to be a dad. He worked his mouth from side to side. Now I've learned that that's part of what I gave up. My heart cracked at his forlorn tone. He would have been a really fun dad, I thought. His entire demeanor was crestfallen, so unlike his wonderful, bright self. Part of me wanted to hug him. Do you ever want to have kids? He asked me. The question felt a little out of left field, as I wasn't the vampire. To be entirely honest, I never gave it much thought. I always figured I'd end up alone. Michael looked heartbroken for me. My chest ached. I barreled on. But I don't mind. I'm used to it. I've only been in a few relationships, but they didn't last. Whenever it ended, it was always because of me, so I figured that relationships just must not be for me. The pain in Michael's face did not lessen. That's not true, he said. I'm here right now. His eyes locked on mine. And up until this recent discovery, I was having a wonderful time with you. I chuckled at his attempt to lift my mood. Why don't we study just a little longer? Then we can go to the ice cream shop a couple blocks down from here. Michael continued to look at me, as if he were trying to decipher me, before he sat back down and picked up a slice and a paper, taking a bite as he started reading. How good is a wonderful time? He was probably just trying to lift my mood, but he needn't do that. I've gotten used to being alone. It's comfortable now. But Michael, I'm here right now. That he was. And that's gotten comfortable too. But that tone. I'm here right now. We're friends, right? The next day was raining, the skies gray and my mood matching. My heart still ached from the night before, our conversation having played through my head all night. I hurried into the office, shaking the rain off my umbrella before setting it to dry in the rack by the door. I had just reached the desk and taken off my jacket when... Hands on my arms. Strong arms. What the... Drew, how are you today? If I could get away with punching him, I would. God damn it, Trevor, quit that! I shook out of his grasp. Quit what? As if he didn't know. This absolute turd. Quit what? I mocked him. Quit picking on me, that's what. And I already told you that I don't like being touched, yet you keep doing it, so quit it! Trevor smirked at me. Drew. He punched my arm lightly. You gotta calm down. I'm not doing anything wrong. Hey, Trev, I heard from behind me. Not cool, man. Michael was close by and had seen the interaction. While Drew is adorable when startled, it's wrong of you to target her just to get a good reaction. I glared at Michael for the adorable comment. Of course I'm going to react. Who wouldn't were they in my place? Trevor just smiled, the easy smile of those who've never been told no. She's just so cute when she jumps like that, especially when she squeaks. He winked at me. The spot where he touched crawled in disgust. I felt nauseous, but I had to stand up for myself. There is such a thing as harassment in the workplace. I am not afraid to protect myself if need be. Trevor's hands flew into the air in front of his chest. Hey, no need to get heedlessly throwing words like that around. It was all in good fun. It won't happen again. He started walking away. He said something under his breath, and Michael stiffened and glared. Hey! Trevor turned around, surprise on his face at Michael's fierce tone. I've got eyes too, you know. If Drew decides to do anything, I will be backing her up. Something in his voice gave Trevor pause. Then Trevor turned around, walking a little faster. I took a deep breath. Thank you, Michael, for having my back. Trevor's antics have been going on for a while now, and he wouldn't stop pushing my boundaries, in more ways than one. I shivered, still trying to shake off the feeling of Trevor's hands on my arms. Michael smiled at me. Of course I've had your back. You've had mine these past several weeks, in more ways than one. Even when it wasn't for work, when there wasn't anything in it for you. I smiled back at him. I wouldn't say there's nothing in it for me. There's always something to be said for entertainment value. Michael laughed. At first, it was just self-preservation, then curiosity. Now he's my friend. One of the only ones I have. So of course I'm sticking around. He's my friend. Right? My stomach was still in knots from Trevor's antics, my skin feeling near oily for how gross I felt. I continued to breathe steadily, my heart rate still too high from the encounter. Have you had your coffee yet, Drew? Michael asked. No, I haven't. In the excitement that Trevor had started, I had completely forgotten about coffee. I'll get it. I still need to get mine too. He quickly walked off, leaving me at the desk alone. I sat down at my computer, twisting to look toward Trevor's office. I wanted to keep tabs on the man. I didn't know what he had said that had upset Michael, but I didn't think he was complimenting the weather. I got my computer set up for the day, opening up emails and DMs to triage what needed to be addressed first. I heard someone clearing their throat as they approached, and I looked up. 1 cream, 2 sugars? Michael came up to the desk, setting down my coffee before walking to his side with his. I watched him from my periphery as he began his own morning routine, modeled after mine. How's your load looking today, Michael? Michael? It took saying his name twice to get his attention. Sorry, it's not looking too awful, but it'll keep me plenty busy. He seemed a little distracted. Michael, are you okay? Yeah, I'm great, just a little tired. Didn't sleep awesome last night is all. One side of his mouth quirked up in a grin. Nothing to worry about. I won't let it affect my work. That's all right. Let me know if you need an assist. And we got to work. The workday finally came to a close. By some miracle, today no one had stopped by the desk to just chat. I wasn't going to complain. It was a rather productive day. I looked around my screen toward Michael. His eyes were towards his screen, but it was obvious he wasn't seeing anything. His focus was in the middle distance, as if he were very deep in thought. He shook his head as if to clear it, then saw me. Are you all right? I asked as his eyes met mine. Michael tilted his head side to side. Debatable. I just can't get that voice out of my head. I can't figure out who it is, but I swear I've heard that voice before. He ran his fingers through his hair in frustration. There was only so much that I could help with on this. Do you remember if the voice was famous, or if it was someone you've maybe met before? Maybe that would help narrow it down. He shook his head again. I've thought it through inside out and backwards. I just can't figure it out. Have you ever tried to remember a word, but all you've got is a vague definition? I nodded. It's kind of like that. I know that I know this voice. I just can't for the life of me place it. That sounds really frustrating. I'm sorry that there's not any way that I can help with this particular problem. I can throw out suggestions, but I don't know whether that helps or hinders. Michael gave a gentle smile. The fact that you want to help helps. Thank you, Drew. His phone vibrated on the desk. He picked it up. It's a message from Anton. He's wanting to know if we're off yet because he has a little free time for studying with us. What do you say, Drew? I say let's get going, I said as I stood and began to put away my own things. I even have my laptop today. Stars aligning or something. Michael walked around to my side of the desk to walk beside me. Once at the sidewalk, we managed to flag down a cab and got in. Michael gave the cabbie the address, and we were off. He seemed to fall back into contemplation again, not saying anything the entire drive to Anton's.